Hey guys, I just recorded the first one of the videos for my new series, and I don't know whether you will actually see the series first or this video, but I think you will maybe see this video first. So I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but if it's up I will link it somewhere around the screen. So today I wanted to talk about the books that I read in June, and that's actually pretty much only this one, but it's actually 3 books. So I told you about The Giver, that I've reread it in May, and that I wanted to continue this whole series because I never knew that it actually was a series. And so I went into this kind of blind. I wished for this book for my birthday or Christmas, something like that. I have my birthday in January, so it's kind of the same for me with Christmas. But my grandparents gave me this, and I was really happy because it's such a beautiful book to have. First of all, I love the outside of the book. I think it's so gorgeous, and I love the red pages or page ends. And then it's also gorgeous in here. It has this dotted design that I really like. So pretty. So let's talk about the books. Now you may know, if you watched my May video, that I love The Giver. I had to read it for school, and it was the book that I loved the most, and it's so precious to me. And when I found out that there were more books, I was like, I need them. I have to read them ASAP. So took me a while still, I know, but I finally did, and I'm so glad that I did, because when I was in school I was like, that's a weird ending, like what was that? But it's not the end after all. So this book is not like a series, but it is companion novels. So you have a different main character in every book. So in The Giver we start out with Jonas, who is in a society that lives in sameness, and he breaks out because he has all these memories he's given from The Giver, and he remembers like weather, love, feelings in general, and also pain, and he wants these memories to be free again, and for that he has to leave his own community, and he takes a baby with him, which is Gabriel, and those two run away, and you don't ever know what happens to them. Now we go into the second book, which is Gathering Blue. I don't know whether you can see that but yeah, it's called Gathering Blue, and this focuses on Kira. I hope. Me and names. Kira lives in a completely different, not world, but society. And this is more like a medieval society, whilst the first one was very high tech, this one is very low tech. So it's all about this very, how should I call that? It's a very poor society. They don't have like health, medicine stuff or any technology at all. They have huts that they live in. They speak a very different language, and I love that about the book. I really like the way that the world was built, so you completely feel involved in the world and in the book and in the society. And then Kira is one that usually wouldn't even be there. She was born with crippled legs, so she can't walk properly. She has to use like, what are these called? I don't know. It's a cane? You know what I'm talking about, yeah. She can't walk properly, but she can walk. It just takes longer and stuff like that. It's more hard for her. So usually kids that have any sort of anomaly are instantly killed because they have like a certain amount of time before they think the soul comes into your body, and if you're killed before that, you're not even human. So usually she would have been killed, but her mom fought for her because Actually, her father died before she was born, and her mother wanted her so bad, and I'm sorry for that, and her grandpa was kind of in a high position in that society, so they let her live. But now her mom is dead, and she has to find a way to live in that society where she really doesn't belong, and things happen from there. I think her story is really interesting. I really liked Kira as a character. The whole kind of concept reminded me of All the Truth That's in Me, which is a book that I read in the beginning of the year, and I loved it so much. So I think I gave Gathering Blue about 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, I really liked it, but it just wasn't what I was expecting after reading The Giver, and it wasn't as good as The Giver. It just wasn't as well sorted out and stuff like that. So I gave it 4 stars because it's not as good, but it's still very good, and I really enjoyed it, and I would happily read it again. As I said, I like Kira as a character. I love how they put the language in there, so it's kind of different, and you can feel how it is different by the way they talk. Very interesting. I loved Matt as a character, which is a very important side character. He's just so cool. I really like him. And the best thing is, if we go on to Messenger, it's actually all about Matt, which is now Matty. Because in that society from the second book, reaching certain age levels, you get one more syllable to your name. Like, for example, Kira has 2 because she's like teenager-ish. And then Matt has 1 because he's not right a teenager yet. And so in the third book in Messenger, he now is older, and that's why he can call himself Matty. But he actually left the community, so this is kind of a disclaimer, but not a big one, because I don't want to talk too much about that, but I try to keep it mostly spoiler free, so I don't ruin anything for you by saying that he left the community during Gathering Blue, and he found another world to live in, another society, another village where he can live. And that village is pretty much the complete opposite. So that one is for all the people that were kind of tortured, captured in their own communities, and they got to flee, to run away, and they all come together in this new village, and it's all about people that are broken, that have issues, and they are very loving. And while in the Kira's society, they were all about fighting for oneself. In this one, they're all about fighting for each other, and, you know, everyone helps out where he can. And there we finally meet Jonas again, but I don't want to say how or why or anything like that. And we also meet Gabe again, but not really, like only in a small part. But yeah, we finally found out what happened to Jonas and Gabe, which I was so pleased with. I really wanted to know. But we don't find out what happened to their community, anything like that. They're just there now. And we have the story of Matty, which was such a nice character in the second book, is even more amazing in the third book. And I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars, because I think it's not quite where The Giver was, but it's amazing, and I enjoyed it so much, and I loved Matty as a main character, and like, it was so different again from the first 2 books, like with everything, and I think Lois Lowry is such an incredibly creative person to think of these 3 communities that are so different with everything, and then also what happens to the characters. It's not like you have the same story again and again. No, it's completely different stories, and it still makes sense. So I loved this third book. Now for the fourth one, it's called Sun. It is the biggest part of this book, like it's much bigger than the other 3 books. And we're back in the first community where Jonas ran. And we are told the story of the birth mother of Gabe. which is interesting. Now, this book is divided in 3 parts. I think it's called Before, Between and Beyond or something like that. But it's never actually said before what. So that was kind of frustrating, and I don't know, I didn't quite get that, what these parts were about. I didn't get it. So we meet her, what was her name, like... Claire. We meet Claire before she actually gives birth for the first time. She has just been assigned birth mother, and she's very young, like she's 12 or 13. You have to keep that in mind, because the movie is a little bit different than the books, and in the books they're assigned their job in the age of 12. So she's maybe 13 and she is supposed to give birth to her first child. Now, with that birth, things go wrong and she is reassigned to a different unit of the society. She is not allowed to give birth to more children, because actually she usually such an assignment comes with 3 births. But no, she just has this one child, and then she's reassigned and she has the opportunity to go and look at her child in the nurturing section, and she actually kind of develops the love for her own child, which is something that you can't do in this community. It's forbidden, and usually you would take pills for that, but she does. And then all the rest of the book is about her trying to get to her child. Like, after the society breaks down because Jonas left, she runs off to find her child, basically, and she encounters yet another society that we haven't heard of before, which is also again very interesting, also more on the medieval side. So but still it has its own dynamics and stuff like that. Again, very nice side characters that I really liked, but I just didn't get along with Claire too much. And then I felt like the connection wasn't there. Like, I think this book was released 2012 and Messenger was released 2004, which is 8 years. And I feel like in that time, Lois Lowry lost the connection to the series, and writing then another book just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right, and I was very disappointed by that last book, I have to admit. And if you think about reading this, you could very well just skip the last book and don't read it at all, and it would be fine. Now, in the end, you kind of get where all the characters were going. They all kind of meet in the end, which can be a little bit forced, but it's okay. I totally feel that. But the characters also have changed so much during the time that has passed that they're just not quite the same anymore. And I don't know, I just didn't like that last book. I felt like it was disconnected, it didn't have that feeling anymore. And I think I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay, it was entertaining. I really loved the new ideas that got into it, but it just didn't feel like part of the series anymore. And that was kind of sad. And it still had amazing writing style and stuff like that. It was creative, it was well thought out for the most part, but then some things just bugged me and didn't feel right for me. So that would be all for this book. It was pretty much a long video, I can tell, because my voice is getting annoyed now. But I really hope you check it out. The Giver is one of my favorite books. Clearly I gave that one 5 out of 5 stars, there's no question. So I am glad that I finally read all the books that are in the series. I hope there will not be any more, because I don't think there would be any good. But yeah, that would be that. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye!